May mga excited nang magtanong. Pero bago ang ating open forum.
Yes, thank you muna kay Ronica Samayor.
Yes.
Maraming maraming salamat for your insights. At saka, well, that ends part one of our program, no? Before we move on to the open forum, which is part two, let's have our usual photo session. David?
First, the GC Secretariat will share a link to an evaluation form for today's Kamayan Forum session in the chat box. The link will also be placed on screen. Please take time to give your feedback to help us improve the forum. So be honest with your feedback so that we will know what part do we need to improve, or if you have topic suggestions for the Kamayan Forum, you can also include that in the feedback form. Also, for those who want to have e-certificate, there's just two requirements. First, the participant must have been actually present in the forum and not merely pre-registered, and the participant must submit a duly accomplished evaluation form.
So now, David, we're ready to open the question and answer portion. Um,
Let's
uh,
start with
are
the
you
some,
ready with your
yes.
questions?
Let's start with some of the reminders first and
Yes,
guidelines.
yes, yes. Go ahead, David.
Number one, to ask questions or share a comment, you may either raise your hand to verbalize it or post your question or comment on the chat box, and we will read them for you. For those who are watching online via our Facebook page, you can also post your questions and feedbacks on the live, because I am also monitoring the live of our Kamayan forum. Second, please unmute your microphone as soon as your name is called. Give your name, organization, school, or location, then state your question and to whom it is directed. As we have time limit for this, please be very concise with your questions and feedback. And lastly, we will take as many questions as time permits on a first come, first serve basis.
All right. Who wants to fire the first question?
I think let's ask the first question posted on the chat box from Elson Piano Jr.
Okay.
Regarding the land tenure, almost all lots in Metro Manila are privately owned. Therefore, how will you say to private landowner that the highest and best use or HABU of his or land is an open space park with native trees compared to the physical settlement that will cater housing the population? Very interesting question.
So I guess that's for Architect Gozon, maybe. That's my guess. Who wants to answer that question?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, go
Hello.
ahead.
Yes. Actually, I live, of course, in my own particular area, no, and I live in a townhouse, no. Just so happened, of course, that compared to the other townhouses that beside me, no, medyo meron akong maliit na area that is actually merong tumutubo na isang puno lang. Isang puno lang po, no. It's actually palagay ko, 'pag kunwari meron kang puno, malalaman mo kung ano yung difference na wala, eh. For one, my sister's house is actually just down 5 mas mainit yung bahay niya. Mas hindi brightly lit. Tapos, um, hindi, nung pandemic, siyempre hindi ka lumalabas, pero maya't maya may kumakatok dito na ang puno ko kasi kamansi, may nanghihingi ng fruits, no? So you get to see what is the value of it in terms of your property, kung ano yung value nung open space para sa iyo, no? Mas lumalamig yung ano to, dahil may puno ka na katabi, hindi ka gagamit masyado ng aircon kasi yung shade mismo ng puno nakakaano sa iyo, nakakadagdag ng value, no? But of course, how would that compete, for example, that you would need another extension of a room, yung mga ganun tipo, no? Ito. So you have to weigh it down, no? But if you look at it, malaki actually ang impact kung meron kang open space at meron kang puno sa sarili mong private open space. And it is also important that when planners, when architects, urban planners, landscape architects, as mentioned kanina nung ating reactor, no, different, there are a lot of professionals that when they do their designs, they take into consideration that they have to include the open space. Kasi napaka-essential niyan in planning a city. Not and it's also important in planning your own community, 'di ba? Napaka-importante yung presence ng puno. Kanina nga lang tinitignan natin, no. Tandaan niyo na we are in the Philippines, whatever is kung ano yung climate, kung ano yung conditions ng Philippines, naapekto sa atin. Di ba nga, we're supposed to be forested. Ngayon na ano to, nakikita natin yung impacts na ngayon nawawala yung puno doon sa ano natin, sa area natin dito sa Metro Manila, kumakonte, no? Nafe-feel natin yung init, no? Tapos ngayon magsasabi kayo na kailangan ng puno para ano to, bakit nangyari yun? Kasi nga, hindi tayo nagtatanim ng puno. So I think you'll get the value of it. And you have to really start sa sarili mo, no? Yun nga lang, kung maliit yung area mo, ayun ang problema. Kung medyo malaki, then I think, why not actually allot a particular area na meron nitong tree cover, no?
May I add something to that? So to clarify and
Go ahead.
answer the
Yes,
question
please.
of Mr. Piano. I
Please.
think it has to boil down to appreciation of the law. The law on open space requires that development by developers must allot 30% of the total area of its development to open space. And open space is beyond the commerce of man, meaning it cannot contain anything but open space, whether with green or not. Number one. Number two law that has to be considered is the National Building Code, meaning no matter how small your lot is, it is mandatory to allot a setback of 3 meters in front of your property in order as for it to comprise the open space on the sides and at the back. So meaning it now has the option for the lot owner to create an open space in front of his or her house because of that setback. So meaning when you procure a property without a setback, then it's a violation of the National Building Code. The developer has cheated on the implementation of the National Building Code, meaning when your boundary is already the sidewalk or the road itself and without a setback, then it's a violation. The city government can demolish your house and impose a 3-meter setback on your property, whether this is a formal or informal settlement. More so if it is a formal settlement. Meaning no matter how small the land is, whether it is 10 square meters, you have to have a setback of 3 meters in front of your property as required by the National Building Code. So meaning you can utilize this as your open space. Apart from whether you are enclosed in a developer's project, you have to have as a right access to a 30% open space in your community as developed by the developer. So it can now be imposed upon the private owner of the land to have an open space in front and to impose upon the developer of the private land to allot 30% of the area. That's the law. So that's how we should be able to appreciate. We cannot impose. Yes, we can impose to the private owner. You have to have an easement of 3 meters in front. That's the National Building Code.
Hello.
Very interesting, you know. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
that's a very, very good insight, Rene.
Siguro,
Very,
susugan
very
ko
good.
lang, Miss Marino, bago doon siguro very interesting yung kasi napansin ko lately, no, yung imposement ng open space, parang ang number one violator din yung mga local governments and DPWH kasi minsan, yung open space mo, nagiging kalsada, tinatanggal nila lahat yung mga puno, So wala ka ng open space. Tapos isa pa sa, when I was sitting on the, parang sa isang project sa Metro Manila, proud na proud pa yung isang magre-reclaim, no? They will be having 5% of open and green space. Siguro question, nasusunod po ba itong mga like 30% for subdivisions and development areas? Nasusunod po ba ito ng mga developers and even by the government? Kasi it was
May I answer
very sad
again?
to see.
When the
Pinuputol yung
presidential
puno.
decree was promulgated by President Marcos, the Marcosian rule imposed upon all developers of subdivisions and condominiums to allot 30%. Everybody complied for fear of, reprisal from the strong man. We can view this from the development of the new of older subdivisions like Bel Air. They have open space like Loyola Grand Villa and all other old developments. But newer developments are secretly violating this rule and even circumventing it to a point that qualifying roads as part of open space. And that the Department of Human Settlements must step in to this and investigate whether or not that still valid and imposable law on open space is still being implemented to the letter.
Yeah.
To the letter. So that is something that I highlighted that we should demand. We should demand for open space and we should demand for easement of areas of private ownership, meaning we should not occupy all our land. We should have a space 3 meters in front of our house in order that we can breathe, in order that we can plant something, in order that we can have a shed, in order that we can have something to, relax. This is the purpose of the National Building Code. And more often than not, if we move around Metro Manila, sorry, all of these mandates of the law are violated left and right.
When a law is violated or not implemented, usually corruption is involved. So, that is our problem, I guess, no?
Yeah. The inspectors turn a blind eye on inspecting compliance, and this is something that we should be worried about in order that we can regain the spaces and plant those necessary native trees.
Right.
We
Yeah,
are
because-
being challenged. Where is the space? Well, that's why I highlighted demand for the open space. Now that it has been highlighted that the habu is how can you impose upon a private landowner? There is a law that requires 3-meter setback in front. So these are open spaces that can be planted with 1 or 2 trees.
Yeah, okay. So I see a raised hand.
Yeah.
I think it's Tessa.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Tessa.
Well, Metro Manila has a lot of trees and now we have bike lanes. Pero yung mga pag-divide ng mga trees, ng mga roads natin, puro semento rin. So, narinig ko kay Ime, why don't we put trees instead, no? As dividers for bike lanes, for example. So, there are species that we can use dito sa ating mga bike lanes?
You're choppy, Tessa.
All right. I was saying, yung ating mga roads sa Metro Manila ay puro semento.
Yeah, that one we got. It's the
Pero
latter part.
Ay mga bike lanes, pero ang pag-divide, semento pa rin.
Yeah.
Actually, narinig ko, ay gamitin ang mga puno.
Correct.
So, kay Architect Gozon, no? Meron ng native tree na pwede natin gamitin dito sa mga roads natin as dividers, for example, for to segmentize in yung ating mga bike lanes.
Maganda yan. Baka pwedeng hindi nila alisin yung mga puno.
Oo. Hindi ibig sabihin, dapat yung puno goes up straight, doesn't spread
Oo,
to match.
yung
Oo, oo. Meron tayong ganun. Nandun
Nasa
sa ating
oh,
Philippine
baka hindi
Native
kasi
Trees
alam.
book.
Tama natin to kung anong mga species to ng mga native trees.
Yeah, yeah.
Hi, Ma'am Tessa, right?
Yeah.
I think that falls in the responsibility of any designer of the city. For example, that one would like to have yung bike lane, no? I couldn't just say that there is this particular species that you could make use of. Ang inaano niyan is, that is also a space. A bike lane is supposedly a design space, no? Ang maganda niyan, if you could make use of that particular space to be experienced better, 'di ba? Where is going to be located, saan part ng road network siya ilalagay? Doon ba sa inner? Kalimitan nakikita ko yung malapit sa sidewalk, pero nagko-compete with the pedestrian sidewalk itself, 'di ba? Or kinukuha nila doon sa pinaka outer na lane ng ano to, pero minsan makikita mo yun nandun din yung mga motorcycle or yung mga even yung mga private cars ginagamit din, no? Um the space itself should be designed better, no, to be experienced. And whatever species to be used, ang dami natin selection po, but that
Yes.
should be designed as well. Merong mga small trees for smaller areas. May bigger trees, of course, para mas maganda yun encompass. Just imagine people making use of the academic oval because they wanted the experience, of course, of riding their bicycles na nakaano, 'di ba? Na nandun yung cavernous feel of the acacia trees. May mga ganun equivalents tayo that are natives. The Nara itself could be made use to have the same effect as the acacia. Tapos imagine nyo yung mga iba pa na pumupunta as far as Cogea to do their Saturday recreation of biking up. Iba yung experience, of course, of discovering each one of the new species that they could see along the way, di ba? So, in effect, I couldn't recommend what one species could be used for the bike lane because that would have to be designed. And of course, there are a lot of species na pwedeng gamitin, no? For you to experience that space better.
Okay.
Thank
Yes.
There's a question
think-
from this live stream, I think.
Yeah, there's a question from the live stream from Cooper Resabal from our FB page. Does the requirement for 30% open space apply to other urban areas aside from Manila? Or is this a requirement in general to the whole Philippines?
Yes, it's applied, it's implemented all over the Philippines, whether urban or rural, for so long
Okay.
as there is development for subdivision and condominium.
Good to know.
Thank you, thank you.
Good to know.
Implementation talaga problema.
Oo,
no?
implementation talaga.
Another
Political
question.
will.
Okay, go ahead.
Could I add to that po?
Yes,
Yes,
please.
please.
Okay, ang problema kalimitan po, I think some developers and some designers would actually follow that. Kaya lang after po nung for example na nagamit na for building permit na nakita meron kayong open space, no? After naitayo yung bahay, kailangan mo biglang all of a sudden may kitchen, lalo na yung mga maliliit na mga local housing. Yung mga areas na, for example, na setback supposedly, yun yung open space nyo, nagiging driveway, nagiging kitchen, yun yung nagiging extension, and that napaka-common nun kalimitan, lalo na dun sa mga dun sa mga locus housing yung medyo congested. Mas maswerte yung may mas malalaking areas because it's not necessarily just the back and front of your property nagiging setback. Pwedeng magkaroon ka pa ng setback sa gilid na pwede man tanim naman ng puno. Pero kalimitan yung mga maliliit, yung congested yung space, na nadi-dispense sila to become driveways and additional laundry areas and kitchens pag ganun.
Okay.
Kasi
Thank
kung
you.
titignan mo nga naman, 6 meters, 3 on the front and 3 at the back is 6 meters. It's a big area as limited din yung mo. Also, another question from the chat from Hailey Meril Sigi. Is there an official published study on the urban carrying capacity for Metro Manila similar to what was conducted in Tagaytay City and Baguio? If yes, has the study been disseminated to Metro Manila LGUs for consideration in their local development planning activities?
There's none.
Yun.
So that's
Wow.
that's something that we need.
Parang na-shock ako doon. So, saan nagbe-base? I mean, saan nagbe-base yung mga LGU and even the MMDA for all of this if there's no studies? Wow.
Well, everyone is in a reactive mode governance, meaning react to whatever is confronting and challenging governance. So meaning if there's traffic, let's create more roads. If there's congestion, let's do something to decongest. But the overall solution to this is not only the implementation of the law that was highlighted, no, the open space. Even if we highlight and stress the fact that the open space provision of that presidential decree commands the developer to set aside 30% area as open space. That's not even the clubhouse. Clubhouse has commercial activity in it. So whoever designed the UP campus must have in mind the appropriate required open space, no, of an area. So even this open space, we cannot do anything anymore to salvage the cancer stage of Metro Manila's carrying capacity. We have to overhaul, like Seoul has done in its capital, to overhaul the entire Metro Manila. But what can the national government do is to spur development outside of Metro Manila, so Metro Manila can become obsolete and Metro Manilans will now be lured to going back to places where there is better future, etc. And Metro Manila will be somehow more or less deserted, and that's the time we can regain the carrying capacity. So if we tire ourselves in let's do this, let's do that, that's fine. But let us depend on the national government. So when we depend on the national government, what tool can we use and what arguments can we use? The one that I personally highlighted, we should demand. We should demand that the state has a duty to protect and conserve human welfare to live in harmony with nature. So
Right.
all is not lost, but government has a duty to do to develop, as was highlighted by the population commissioner, no, that the migration of other peoples into Metro Manila is making it worse and exacerbating the conditions of the carrying capacity. So ergo, therefore, the solution is to take out the source of the congestion out of Metro Manila. And that
Yes.
is economic development. Economic development should be distributed justifiably all over the country in order that all urban centers will breathe a sigh of relief. That's the only way.
Yes, thank you, Rene. And now we have Dr. Mylene's hand raised.
Go ahead.
Yes, I'll just react to Sir Rene's proposed solution. I think it's not too late naman po to have other solution aside from getting all the residents of Metro Manila out of Metro Manila and then rehabilitate, refurbish. Because the case of Singapore, it's also a densely populated country, small country. But the government required vertical greening. So for every development that is proposed or that is made, there should be an equivalent more than 100% greening ng space. So, halimbawa, for building development, magtatanim sila on a vertical, kokobera nila ng green. I think 130% dapat yung green space nung development. So, to augment the, ano nga po, the negative impact of the development. Then you also mentioned, Sir Rene, kanina as an example, yung Seoul, yung Cheonggyecheon. That's a very, concrete example of willpower ng government. And I think kung ilalagay, ngayon din kasi nagpupunta na yung mga offices, service office, government offices, inilalabas na ng Seoul, nilalagay na nila somewhere sa Daejeon. It's a new capital city. So, para ma-decongest yung mga services and other transactions na nasa Seoul, nilagay po nila sa isang capital city. I forgot the name, but it's near Daejeon. So if we will do that also in the Philippines, like I think merong move before to put all the government offices sa Clark, if I'm not mistaken. No? And then
Yeah,
the
DOTR is there already.
something
Clark.
like that. Opo. Then that's also one solution para, and then when we do that, the services can be, ayun, nandun na sa ibang lugar. And then we can do vertical greening naman for Metro Manila to augment naman yung negative feedback due to highly dense, built up space na nagagamit na. Ayan po. Thank you. Back to you po.
Thank you. Meron bang questions sa gallery natin? So
think,
far, ang mga
wala
questions
sa
pumasok
gallery.
sa live stream tsaka sa chat box eh. Sa gallery ba wala na?
Anyone who would like to ask their questions? We still have time.
Yeah, we still have some time. Meron niya pa yata sa chat box or sa live stream.
At ito may question tayo mula kay Armin Qualing. Regarding the trees affected by DPWH project, example, a road widening, where be the site for tree planting considering the lack of available land in Metro Manila and the 1:100 standard tree replacement? Ano, ito yung parang ang daming road widening, no? Minsan nga kahit di sa Metro Manila, they're widening the road kahit di kailangan, and ang nadadamage yung mga puno na yun na nga lang yung nagpapalamig, open space. So yun, magandang question. Ano daw po nangyayari dun sa mga yun?
Well, dito sa widening ng Katipunan noon, we were promised that yung mga tinanggal na mga puno ay ibobol, kung tawagin, ibobol, no? Bubuin nila, pati yung roots kukunin, at ipaplant somewhere else. Yung iba, pinlant dyan by the banks of the Marikina River, na nakita namin. Yung iba, hindi namin nalaman kung saan napunta. Pero lo and behold, yung mga binol nila, namatay lahat. Walang
Oh my
nabuhay,
gosh.
maski dyan sa Marikina River, nangamatay lahat. Isa pang crucial point doon sa legal system, for example, no? Pagka merong government project, hindi mo yan pwedeng ma-filean ng TRO. Matatalo ka para patigil mo yung government na wag i-widen yung road kasi kakainin niya yung private property mo, o wag i-widen yung road kasi tatanggalin niya yung puno. Hindi mo yan mapapa-TRO. Yun ang rule ng Supreme Court. Pero
Oh my gosh.
kasi yung invocation ng maling law, kaya ka nagpapa-TRO. Pag in-invoke mo yung Article 6 na sinasabi natin, mas matindi yun. Kasi battle-tested na yung ganong invocation ng right ng tao sa harmony with nature. Hindi yung, I want my property back so I don't want your project. Hindi. I want my right to environment clean. That's why I do not want your development project.
I think maganda yan, no?
Yung po yung
Tama.
crux ng mga arguments, no, na if we invoke the right and justifiable rule and justifiable cause, baka sakaling matsambahan natin na i-clarify ng Supreme Court, yes, tama yung mga nagsisik ng clarification na karapatan nila na mabuhay sa isang maligaya at masaganang environment. Nakalagay yan sa Constitution.
Yes. It's our right, not a privilege.
Tama,
So-
kasi the Constitution is the highest law of the land, and it is more powerful than any developmental projects or local law. So kailangan talaga, tama si Sir Rene, i-invoke natin yung constitutional right to a healthy environment. No? Karapatan natin yon, mga kababayan.
Correct.
O, kaya nga, yung mga may nagtanong nga, di ba, paano yung DPWH, yung mga pinuputol nila, hindi natin pwedeng ipatigil yan using the wrong invocation of our rights.
Pero Rene,
When we invoke the right to property, meaning right ko to sa property ko, hindi ko kayo papayagan, talo tayo. Kasi jurisprudence na yun na may karapatan ang Estado na kuhanin yung property mo due to ang tinatawag nila yung eminent domain. Yung rule ng eminent domain, meaning may karapatan ng gobyerno na gawing public yung iyong private property. Kaya kasama yung puno, kasama yung property mo, kukuhanin niya ng government with just compensation. Kaya pag in-invoke mo yung right to your property, mas magpe-prevail yung eminent domain ng Estado kesa dun sa right to property. Pero yung right to life, mas magpe-prevail yun dun sa right ng government to develop.
get a point there. Yes.
Napakaganda.
Oo. Merong question na pinasa si Ana.
Ito from Cooper Resabal, given the climate reality we have to face, are there moves to provide alternative natural solution to make sponge cities or adaptation moves like the one suggested earlier about moving centers of development out of urban centers? Ayan. Meron na po bang mga moves na ginagawa para gawin yan?
For a while, yung noon, matagal na, pinopropose namin, take out the number one source of congestion in Metro Manila, yung airport, tsaka yung seaport. So may mga moves to take out the airport out of Metro Manila and move it somewhere else. Meron ding moves to take out the seaport, the gateway to commerce sa Metro Manila, out of Metro Manila. So with that, most, if not all, of the business connected to these traffic points will have to follow where the airport is and where the seaport is. And then followed with government now thinking to relocate its centers, no, to other areas other than Metro Manila. Imagine, lahat ng national offices ng national government nasa Metro Manila. So imagine yung magtatransact ng negosyo o ng something sa national government, luluwas lahat sa Metro Manila para i-transact yung kanilang requirement. So iniisip na yan ng government na i-move yung national offices somewhere else. Nag-start na sila, yung Department of Transportation nasa Clark na. I don't know kung ilan pa magfa-follow papunta sa Clark. Papunta somewhere else. So Batangas, mayroong mga nag-iisip na yung mga port-based agencies mag-relocate sa Batangas Port. So may mga moves.
Thank you, sir. I think isa rin sa pwede nilang gamitin since online na naman tayo. I think they could fast track the online transactions and localize the national transactions of the government para kahit nasaan sila pwedeng mag-transact. You don't need to go physically to Metro Manila.
That's right.
Another
Meron pa?
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sabi ni Rachel Baldonado, I would ask this since Manila is center to everything such as the best schools. Why not extend the best government schools outside Manila? People flock to Manila because of the best schools. I think
There are already good schools in Santa Rosa. For example, I think there's De La Salle, there's Miriam, there's meron, di ba?
I think parang mindset lang, no? Na mindset na ang pinakamagandang schools nasa Metro Manila, but in actuality there are There are actually good schools, best schools outside of Metro Manila. It's just the ang prejudice, no? Na pag Metro Manila ka nag-aral, magaling
Uso
yung
lang.
school mo.
Uso-uso. Uso-uso. Okay, wala na ba tayong questions? Ang
Tingnan
nag-iisip
po sa
lahat ng tao
ating
kasi
live stream.
kasakit ng ulo itong problema.
I think wala na. Wala na
Pero
dito
alam mo,
sa ating
Rene,
live stream.
there's a raised hand again from Doc.
Go ahead.
Yes, kasi I just feel na parang mag-e-end tayo sa sad story because of the depressing state of Metro Manila at its carrying capacity. For the young people here, I hope this is not a source of depression for you, no? Kasi there's still hope. There are small towns and cities who are doing their best kasi the presentation I made kanina is air quality as an indicator of the exceedances in the carrying capacity of Metro Manila. Water quality can also be an indicator of the carrying capacity of a certain locality.
True.
So, doon sa chat box, nag-send ako ng link sa Facebook page, which is called Project Tribe. It's Taytay River Initiatives for a Better Environment because the town of Taytay, it's a small town. It's in the hinterland of Metro Manila, downstream of Marikina Sub-Basin. Kami yung dulong-dulo na river system bago mag-Laguna Lake. Therefore, when we analyze the water quality of Taytay River down to Barkadahan Bridge, immediately before Laguna Lake, ang taas ng level ng pollutants. So, the government recognizes that we need to do something, no? And it's not a one overnight solution. It's a solution that encompasses generations of changing the mindset and also community working together so that we can make change. So, yun yung aim ng Project Tribe. So, most of the solution we do is engineering solution. Alam namin maraming water, so we encourage the local government to put up septic tanks, household level, because household yung nagdudumi sa water. We encourage them to put up septic tanks and also waste treatment, municipal level waste water treatment. And then in terms of educating the people, the community, we educate from the younger generation kasi sila yung magi-inherit ng future. So may pag-asa, don't worry about it. I don't want this session to end in a sad story because meron naman mga little steps that hopefully can also be replicated to other cities na congested na rin and has exceeded the carrying capacity. Yeah, so please visit the page, Project Tribe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
for
much.
that. And so, are we ready to move to our closing segment?
I think we are.
Wala na yatang questions eh. Pero I was going to comment rin kasi wala si Nina dito. She's in the hospital. But I remember you talking about the Katipunan kanina. She mentioned that there was a study that showed that widening a road does not improve traffic condition, no? Because when a road is wider, more vehicles are attracted to go there. So, kaya sa Katipunan daw, imbes na lumuwag yung traffic, sumikip pa since na-widen yung So, ang dami natin kailangan pag-aralan, ang dami natin kailangan i-rationalize. Ano ba ang steps that we need to do? Kasi exceeding the carrying capacity is really scary. I mean, how do you, parang parang your city, for example, is like a womb, no? That's where we all live, in the womb. And kung masyadong punong-puno, if it can only carry 10 babies and you put 100 babies there, where will they get their food, their air, their everything that they need, no? Space to move at all, no? So it's really a very, very critical problem, the problem of exceeding carrying capacity. So yes. Okay, alam mo, Is Mia Bunao here? Maribeth?
No, not po.
Okay.
Wala po siya.
In that case, Rene, can we ask you to give the closing remarks? Because
Yeah,
it's
before that, I think Camila has been raising her hand.
she has. Okay, I didn't see it. Go ahead, Mila.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, no, parang kasi we always think of trees, no, to as decarbonization process, yung as carbon sinks. And even in my subdivision, di ba Rene, napansin mo, hindi na-follow yung building code. Talagang the extension talagang pinupuno yung buong kabahayan. I'm thinking if we can come up with a way to demand that each household at least will plant kahit na nasa pots lang ng mga bougainvilleas, if it's kasi yung utak semento nga, yung iba ayaw talaga ng mga puno kasi nga unang-una yung type of species pa rin kailangan talaga yan kasi may mga puno na sumisira ng kalsada at sumisira ng fence, and we really have to know the species whose roots will go deep down and will not go to the surface. Kasi I think that's also the reason why most of the trees were removed in near the roads. Mahirap yung maintenance kasi yung mga pavements nasisira. I think that's the reason also why itong sino nga ate yung sa Marikina, MMDA dati, namatay na yung mayor
Bayani
dati.
Fernando.
Bayani Fernando. That's the first thing he said when he removed all the trees in front of our houses. Kasi sa Marikina, malalaki pa sa subdivision namin, malalaki pa yung lots noon And we used to have 3 big trees in front of our house. Santol, tamarind, and he said that it's obstructing the drainage system. And when I look at it, yung roots nga talagang pumupunta doon, and it worsens flooding. So we really have to come up in the design, the different species, as Tessa said a while back, that really would lend to greening our roadsides.
Yes, that's what I was talking about earlier. Kasi
Mm-mm.
I read about it in our book, Philippine Native
Yes,
Trees.
there's one, I think. Yung mga agoo ata
So,
and one of the reasons, dati yung buong Santa Mesa when we used to live there, kasi doon yung aming house talaga noon. Yung nasa gitna, we call it an island. It was full of agoho trees before. And I learned the agoho, yung talagang roots niya, it goes deep down. And I don't know why it was removed at that time. Oo.
At saka the cooling
Sayang talaga. Kasi
capacity.
during the time of the Americans, they came up with a way of ensuring that the islands are tree-laden. And I think they know what species to plant. Ang ginawa dati, inalis, tapos tinaniman ng bougainvilleas, etc. Siguro because of the color and so on. At saka yung iba kasi, kaya ayaw nila ng puno. Even here in my subdivision, pinapaputol yung ibang puno ko. Kasi daw, nahihirapan yung maintenance. Magwalis. And
Sus,
even
Maria, kulang capacity,
Grabe,
hindi nila
oo.
iniisip na hindi mainit dahil sa puno.
Yeah.
Ang laking
I don't know if
bagay.
we can come up with a mechanism because even in Singapore when I went there, yung ang sinasabi kanina ni Mylene na may vertical greening, no? Hindi lahat Kasi doon sa area ng pamangking ko, ang laki-laking area noon, puro condominiums. Wala ring gaano hindi siya vertical greening.
I saw the pictures ng vertical. Very impressive. Ang ganda-ganda.
Maganda nga even in Italy. If we can come up with that, na yung buong building, punong-puno talaga ng mga plants.
All green,
na all green, etc. If we can come up with that. Yung iba ayaw, kasi daw malamok, etc. Yes, I agree with Mylene. It has to be the changing of the mindsets of people.
Education talaga din People don't realize na reklamo sila ng reklamo sa init, na solutions are there pero hindi na natin tinitingnan actually.
They're scared of dengue, they're scared of malaria. Yun ang sinasabi nila most of the time.
Hindi naman dahil yun doon sa vegetation yung dengue at malaria. Dahil sa stagnant water yun eh.
Yeah, that's
So
correct.
talagang wrong perception din nila.
Kaya nga education is really very important eh. People have all kinds of misconceptions and paano maiintindihan ng mga tao kung puro
Tama,
mali
tama.
ang nasa isip nila.
At saka natatakot ako doon kasi dapat talaga may 3-meter easement, right, Rene? Eh paano kung yung building officer nag-ikot kahit nasa subdivision namin, maraming hindi sumunod?
I see another
Kailangan ba
raised
yung
hand.
bakbakin? Baka naman
Ma'am
pwedeng may
Rachel?
alternative for them. Like yun
Hmm.
nga, planting in front of their houses kahit sa pots lamang.
Oh, we have no
Vertical
more time, pero
gardening.
we have no more time.
Yes.
But we can take one more. There's a raised hand.
Rachel
Yeah,
Maldonado,
Rachel. Yeah.
go ahead.
Rachel? Oh, you're
You're muted po.
muted. You're muted.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good afternoon po.
Yes.
afternoon.
Nung nagtuturo pa po ako, I'm retired 2018. Before, may mga principal kasi na hindi nila alam yung ganyan. So, advisor ako noon ng ESO. So, may mga ano sila na kailangan sementohin yung mga garden namin. Pinagamit sa mga pang-PE classes daw kasi may shade daw doon kaya doon daw pero sementado yung ano yung pavement, ginawang pavement yung ano yung daanan tapos ano siya dati siyang science teacher, sabi ko na ano siya sa akin, total naman ano kasi gumawa akong letter, sabi ko furnish sa DENR. Actually hindi naman talaga nangyari. Pero sabi niya, total naman ano, nasa pareho lang tayo ng bangka, isang bangka lang tayo. Hindi, parang na ano, pinapacify niya ako na bakit yung gano'n ang ginawa niya. Siguro para maiwasan nga, nadidinig ko lang yung mga pinag-uusapan para malinis, para malesen yung mga gagawin ng mga ano, ng mga utility personnel o ano. Actually kami nag-garden doon, wala namang ginagawa ang utility personnel. So yun. So bali sandali lang naman siya nag-stay sa school namin. Pero just may mga time din na yung ibang principal kasi hindi aware sa mga ganoon. So siguro time to educate talaga.
Yes. Education is
Naalala
the key.
ko lang.
Is key, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're we want to bring back Rene
For the
Rene
closing
Pineda
remarks.
for the closing remarks kasi Partnership for Clean Air is co-organizing this episode.
Okay, it has been a very productive and very engaging discussion. Thank you so much, dear friends, dear colleagues, dear members, supporters, for your time, for your patience, for your participation. And we are certain that we will go somewhere, we will do something right after this discussion. In fact, what I will expound some more on what my colleague Dr. Maylene Cayetano has given us and articulated. No, this is not supposed to leave a bad taste in the mouth or sore pain in our hearts. In fact, this should agitate us to act proactively in order that we can seek meaningful change and effect meaningful changes in our midst. Whether it be legal, whether it be technical, whether it be moral, it boils down to one very singular way of looking at it. It's about stewardship. Stewardship requires that we should be prudent with the way we utilize God-given resources. Whether we are in governance, whether we are a singular person, we should be always worried that we are not the only consumer of the resources God has given everyone. So we should be prudent, we should be mindful, we should take it to heart that whatever it is that we do will have an impact on others, will have an impact on other species, will have an impact on everything that we do, everything around us. So we should be mindful of our actions, we should be mindful of our words, we should be mindful of our decisions. Now that we know these things, we should be able to communicate them well to our constituencies, to our families, to our friends, to our relatives, and start a small discussion as carrying capacity boils down to our respond to God's gift to us, our respond to God's uh, uh, provisions to us, endowment for food, endowment for air, endowment for water, endowment for everything is God given, are all God given. And if we squander them and we take them all for ourselves, that's where the problem begins. All is not too late, as what Dr. Mylene Cayetano stated. No, there are ways to engage ourselves in meaningful and fruitful activities in order that we can effect meaningful changes and improvement of the quality of lives of others, in order that we can help green our surroundings. Let's do them all. Let's carry this carrying capacity issue into our hearts and have a meaningful change first within our families, then within our communities, and then within our government. With that, we thank you all and we wish you all a very good day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rene. That was very deep, profound, and inspirational. Thank you very much. And now, David, last words.
Yeah, before I do that, we would like to invite everyone, if you're interested to join Green Convergence, you can visit
Yes.
our website or on our Facebook page. We are inviting both individual, organizational, and network membership. And also, for those who would like to join Ako Ang Bukas, ito yung personal
Yes.
response natin para sa kalikasan. And
Yes.
for a, to augment the CO2 emissions natin dito sa Pilipinas. So, please join us for Ako Ang Bukas. Siguro as a
Yes,
closing, yes, go
visit
ahead.
our Facebook page,
Yes,
Ako Ang
Ako Ang
Bukas.
Bukas. Yes.
So that you can know your
Carbon
GHG
footprint.
footprint. Yes.
So siguro,
Okay.
Miss Marie, like what I have said in the chat, no, we really have to have a different mindset, no. Nakakalungkot na to hear na puro reactive yung almost mga plan natin is more on the reactive planning. So I think it's about time that the planning, not only in Metro Manila, but on other cities and municipalities, to be proactive and a long-term planning. And it all boils down to the leaders that we are about to elect. So next year is elections. We should be thinking that who are the leaders that would really be proactive leaders, no? That would think about making our lives better in Metro Manila, thinking about the future of the city and making it more livable and have a long-term solution. Again, uh, there also should be the urbanization, thinking of the urbanization and the shifting of paradigm into the economic perspective, no? Kasi kung ang tingin pa rin natin sa development ay paramihan ng building, pagtatayo ng mas maraming building, pagkakamal ng pera and everything, then masisira yung ating kalikasan, no? Every city in the Philippines would end up being another Metro Manila. So problematic yung ating economic development. It should be more of an ecological development which puts nature or the natural resources, the welfare of every human being, and the economic development. Mahalaga kasi yun eh. Yun ang nagiging problema eh. No, utak semento, marami, pera, before, the rights of nature and the human rights of people to a healthy and better environment. Sabi nga ng mga speakers natin today, may pag-asa pa, but I think we should act immediately and support green initiatives in Metro Manila and in all other parts of the country. So maraming salamat.
Yes. Talking about proactivity, a lot of us are not aware of our own power. No, we have to seize our power, individual power, to help our habitat, to create a good life for ourselves. Let's not depend on other people. I mean, it's like Rena said, you have to change. You have to change your mindset. It's not. It's if you don't like what you're getting, you have to change what you're doing. You have to change what you're thinking. You have to change what you're feeling, because all of that is energy, all of that is vibration, and it creates our environment. It's all vibration, it's all waves. No? So even your thoughts are creative. You can create things just with your thoughts. So let us regain our power. Let us claim back our individual power and create the kind of life, the kind of world that we want, and that we want to give to our next generations. So please join us again. The next Kamayan will be on July
July
19th.
19.
And thank you very much for joining
Maraming
us.
salamat.
Thank you.
And happy
Have a good
weekend to
day.
everyone. God
Yes.
bless you. Ingat po kayong lahat. Maraming salamat po. Makakalikasang araw, mga kasama kakalikasan.
God
Salamat
bless
po.
everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. God bless everyone.
Thank you po for joining.